Sorry. Hi everyone. Just wanted to understand it's first time, so do we have to start from our end, going through the agenda?
No, the meeting is going to start momentarily, and then Jay will present the application, and then you'll have a chance to comment. Diane, sorry, the chair, Diane, will call on you to speak.
Okay, thank you.
Well, it's 5 o'clock, so I'll call to order this meeting of the Town of Saugeen Shores Committee of Adjustment. The date today is Monday, June the 17th, 2024, and we're meeting in our temporary location at the Nuclear Innovation Institute, 620 Tomlinson Drive in Port Elgin. First order of business is the land acknowledgement, and I'll read that for this meeting. We acknowledge that we are meeting on the traditional lands and treaty territory of the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, which consists of the Chippewas of Saugeen and the Chippewas of Nawash Unceded First Nation. We understand this land holds immense significance to the people of Saugeen Ojibwe Nation. We appreciate those who live and work alongside us today and who continue the traditions of their ancestors as stewards of the land we are privileged to inhabit. We thank them for the contributions they have made in both caring for the land and in shaping this community. We commit to truth and reconciliation, to acknowledging the truth about what happened to Indigenous peoples because of colonization, and to reconciliation, which begins with each and every one of us. I'll just take a moment to comment about the generosity of two artists from Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, Emily Kiwagijic and Taylor Cameron. If you haven't noticed, next time you're in downtown Southampton, their art is up on the banners on some of the downtown poles, and it makes a nice contribution to downtown and incredible imagery. And if you look online, you might be able to find the stories behind the art as well. As a local government and public organization, we are dedicated to learning about Indigenous culture, to fostering a better relationship with First Nations and their people, and we commit ourselves to actions that move us forward on a path to healing along with the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation. At this point, I'll ask members if they have a pecuniary interest, they can disclose it now or at any point during the meeting. Seeing none, our next item is adoption of minutes. We have our Committee of Adjustment minutes from May the 21st, 2024. If I could have a mover and a seconder for those. Moved by the Vice Deputy Mayor, Mike Myatt, seconded by Richard Beckett, sorry. Are there any comments or corrections, deletions to the minutes? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor? And that is approved, carried. We have one application on the agenda tonight. It's a sign variance SV 2024-01, and it relates to 20 Front Street in the former town of Southampton. And first I will ask Jay Posner to make the report that accompanies this variance application. And is that something important? Oh, okay. And then we'll enable the applicant and or their agent to speak, and then any members of the public who may wish to comment, and then it will be open to members of committee. So if I could ask you, Jay, to make your report. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So we received a sign variance request from the owner of the property, Meet Patel. Mr. Patel is online and is wishing to speak, I think, if invited to do so, for the property located at 20 Front Street, known as the Betsy. Property is a commercial use, being a motel. It's surrounded by residential uses and the waterfront on the west side. That's shown on the attached sketch. And specifically, the application is requesting replacement of a ground sign with internal illumination located on the front of the property. That's the Front Street side. And the installation of one wall sign to be installed on the front of the motel. The sign will have the message, the Betsy, and it'll be situated at the location of the motel, which is at the rear of the property. And that's shown on the site sketch as well, that is also attached. In addition to outlining the requirements of the sign bylaw for committee to consider for variances, our review is that on the two signs, the proposed ground sign location is inappropriate to perform the desired wayfinding functions. It also moves the existing sign away from the road, which is an improvement for traffic visibility and safety. On the wall sign rather, staff, and it's my opinion that based on regulating the internal illumination of the sign through the hours of 11 p.m. to 8 a.m., it's recommended that the facial wall sign can be permitted because of the limited impacts of illumination on surrounding lands with those with the site context and with those time restrictions. So there's the report.
Thank you. I would invite either Mr. Patel or I believe it's Mr. Bittman. I don't know if either one of you or both of you would like to speak, but this is your opportunity to contribute if you'd like. It's hard for me to see you on the screen, so just if you'd like to speak, just thank you. Are you Mr.
Sure.
Bittman? You're Mr. Bittman?
Mr. Patel.
Okay, Mr. Patel, go ahead, please.
Sure. Thank you, Jay, for presenting this. And yes, what's mentioned in the presenting document, that is correct. So just to give you a little bit brief information on the hotel. So the hotel, as everyone can see, the site plan, the hotel is far deep inside the lot of 20 Front Street. So again, like it's sited by the privacy trees. So getting the illumination on the hotel during the operational business hours won't affect to the neighbors directly. So that's why we were requesting the minor variance to have an illumination sign on it. So that's pretty much it. Thank you, Jay, and thank you everyone for joining this.
Thank you. Mr. Bittman, did you wish to speak?
Just
I'll
here
take
in
that.
case there's any questions that come up, but yeah, just wanted to say thank you to everyone, including staff, for the staff report. We agree with the staff report, and there's nothing else for me to say, really. Thanks.
Thank you. I don't believe there are any other members of the public on the Zoom who wish to speak. Is that correct?
Chair, I can confirm we have not received any delegation requests online.
Okay, did we receive any written communication from the public?
Chair, no, we did not.
Okay, I'll open it up now to members of the committee for questions, comments. Member Wallace first.
Through you, Chair. I have one question on the facial wall sign. On page 7, it said that the sign is designed to be channel lettered and backlit, but when I saw the display on page 11, it didn't look like it was backlit. I just wanted to confirm. And I also wanted to confirm that this is on the west side of the building facing the lake.
I don't know if Jay, you would like to answer that, or do you want me to direct it right to the applicant?
If you can direct to the applicant, just feels that they're the ones making the proposal, they can describe what they've requested.
Okay, the question is, which side of the building is the wall sign on, the east or the west? And for a little more clarification on what type of sign it is.
Sure. The sign is facing on the front street. So it's not towards the lake. It's not facing towards the lake. So it's on the other side. So, and the second question was if it's the backlit or not. So the document was added under the Betsy front building elevation. So can I share my screen here?
Is that possible? Yes, you can share your
Yeah,
screen.
Yeah, go
Sure.
ahead.
Yeah, so it's this signage. It's installed on the raceway with open face and channel letters with Fox LED neon lighting in the face.
Did you want to ask anything else?
I'm just assuming that on page 7, it just said that the sign is designed to be channel letters and backlit. So I was just trying to get a visual of how much illumination was coming off that sign. So.
Well, since you put the image up, is it the intention to light the letters and the background, or just the letters?
So for the building facial, it's just the letters, and for the ground sign, it is backlit as it's shown um, in the application. So I can share again. The front ground sign has um, backlit, and the facial one has the tubing signs.
Thank you. Member Martin?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I just have two questions. The first question is to Mr. Patel through you. Sir, I noticed that the front frame cottage is in the midst of substantial renovation right now. I just want to make sure that's renovation. You're not going to tear it down. I couldn't tell whether or not you were at the point where you're just about to re-put in the new windows or whether or not it was going to be taken down completely.
So we did get a permission from the township, as well as there's two of the cabins that were with the conservation. So we did get the permits taking it down, but leaving the foundation as is. We cannot increase the footprints of that cabin. So any of the whole site doesn't increase any of the footprints. It is as is. So that's why it was substantial renovation on that.
Okay, great, great. And through Madam Chair, I have a second question, sir. And this really concerns the front sign. It's currently, as you know, it's a very old sign currently. It's perpendicular to Front Street. The new backlit one now is going to be facing number 19 Front Street, which is a residential home directly across the street from it. And how much, what would be the downside to keeping the new sign as you've designed it, but not having that backlit? So in other words, everything that you've proposed here for the front sign, except the illumination, how badly would that impact what you guys are doing?
Of course, as you can see on the site plan, the hotel and the four cabins are situated far down. It's not visible from the street, so it's just a business marketing. If we have a backlit, then it's more visible to the visitors.
Well, thank you very much. I'm not concerned with the one on the building itself, because it's
Yep.
actually going to be blocked a fair bit by the cottage that you're going to be, or the frame cottage is going to be blocking a lot of that for number 19. I'm just more concerned with the one on the street. But okay, I thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Madam
Yeah,
Chair.
no worries. And also, it's as mentioned, it's on the timer, and it has a dimmer as well. So non-business hours, it can go off, and during the business hours, which is I think it's already mentioned on the report, it's 11 p.m. to 8 a.m. The sign will be completely off.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Counselor Stack? I think you're muted, Rachel.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I lost my ability to unmute. I think this may be a question more for Jay. The 11 p.m. to 8 a.m., is that an existing bylaw requirement? So for example, I'm looking at the beach motel, are they subject to the same lighting requirements? And the reason I'm saying that is I know there are concerns with the duration and the brightness of these signs. So I'm just wondering if 11 p.m. is an established timing for these backlights or backlit signs, or if there's an opportunity to maybe reduce the timing to 10 p.m.
Yes, Madam Chair, I can answer at least the first part is that it is just a sort of an assessment based on what we felt is a reasonable time for the illumination to sort of be regulated. There isn't a bylaw that establishes lighting under particular standards. And as for whether it could be changed, well, committee is in the position to be able to do that. I can't suggest that.
Thanks, Jay. And then just a follow-up, do we know if the beach motel is subject to the same, any similar restrictions on timing of their signage?
From what I recall, Beach Motel did not require a variance, so they're not regulated the
Okay.
same way.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other members? Vice Deputy Mayor Myatt?
Yeah, just a general comment. Thank you for investing in our community. I think it's great what you're doing. I support this application. It's fine with me. I think it's a good thing. I think it's going to really add to your business. And I drove through Southampton today, and I think it's in the corner of I think Jay where the little restaurant is in the corner of Palmerston and Albert. Maybe I drove by. There's a ground mounted sign. Is that kind of similar to this look here?
Yes, yeah, Madam Chair, I think this type of sign is quite frequent or common throughout
Yeah.
Southampton. A lot of the buildings and businesses are set back, so having a ground mounted sign at street is quite common. And that one, at least if it's the restaurant I'm thinking of, is similarly sized and positioned.
That's what I thought. So I think it looks fine. It's a very tiny, tiny lot. This is larger size. And did you say it had a dimmer switch on your sign? Did I hear you say dimmer switch?
Yes, it comes with the timer and dimmer.
Dimmer, so you can actually dim it down to a different level for the backlit?
Yes.
Okay. So if there happened to be a concern, from across the road, like Member Martin was talking about, it's something that could be dimmed down. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks so much.
Well, I have two comments. I just want to make sure that I understand the sign. And it's interesting because it appears to be a front-facing sign at the front of the building on Front Street. Has a lot of fronts. It is intended because the sign right now you can view from two sides as you travel on Front Street. Your intention with your sign is that it literally, is just you see it from the road. There's not going to be anything on the back. Is that correct?
Anything at the back means on facing the lake side? No, there is
No,
no.
I mean the sign at Front Street. It will only have your branding and the name, the Betsy, that faces out towards the road. The back of the sign will just be solid.
Yeah, correct. There's a raceway that's structurally attached to the facial wall. So yes, at the back it won't be. It won't have anything.
Okay, and just perhaps not specifically related to the sign bylaw. I'll take advantage of the opportunity to say, do you have an intended opening date yet?
We were hoping to open this summer, but unfortunately, there's still, because of the market, we are a little bit delayed. So we are now aiming to open in September, anytime in September. So yeah.
And just one further clarification from what our member Michael Martin asked. The cottage that's at the front that would be immediately behind this new sign adjacent to Front Street, you're renovating that structure. It's not being torn down and rebuilt. It's being renovated.
It was a renovation, so the existing footings will remain as is, and we just pour a slab on those existing footing, and then it was renovated. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Are there any further comments or questions? Well, we have a recommendation that we can entertain. We can either approve or deny, make some conditions. So I do have two decision sheets here, but I would look for guidance from the committee as to whether or not we would want to permit these two signs and if we want to put some conditions on the lighting. Member Martin?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't have any problem with the one that's being attached to the building. It's, as Mr. Patel said, it's going to be quite far back. It's set back. It's a necessary type of identification for the building. And the sight lines to number 19, which is the house that is directly across from it, and it's a residential dwelling, will be to some extent blocked by the frame cottage. I'm happy to support that in its entirety, including the backlit. My concern more is the front sign. It faces directly. Well, first of all, it's further back than the existing one, but the existing sign is basically on Front Street, like it's very, very close. But it is going to be, it's still, the setback is fine, but I'm concerned about the illumination. Madam Chair, as you had pointed out as well, it actually just faces the house across the street. Now, I realize people driving by can see it, but it is, I'm concerned about the lighting even to 11 o'clock. So I would not support having the backlit sign, like the backlighting on the sign that is closest to Front Street. I'm happy with agreeing with the variance that will keep it in the position that Mr. Patel wants. I would just like to see no backlighting on that particular one.
So then would you then move the installation of a facial wall sign with the other comments, which I can read in a minute, in terms of the positioning on the building and the lighting and the restrictions on the illumination that are included in the report. So that's the wall sign on the building, it would say the Betsy, at the height that it's being requested at, and that the illumination would be turned off between 11 p.m. and 8 a.m. for that sign. And then for the one at the road, which would be considered a ground sign, we would have that sign removed. And so the existing sign will be removed. And then we would enable the placement of a ground sign according to the inclusions in the report, with a change perhaps to the illumination situation. Is
With
that
the condition that it not be illuminated, would be my suggestion.
okay? That is the directional sign that people would have to use to find it, though.
I mean, it would still be, the sign is still there, but it's a question of whether or not it would be shining directly across into number 19's vision.
Okay, do we have a seconder for that motion? Seeing none, I will entertain a different motion.
Is anyone interested maybe just reducing the timing to 10 or 10:30? Because I think my only concern with 11 is that, you know, in the height of the summer, you know, probably not as big of a deal, but in the middle of the winter, it might be more disruptive to have that. And I know there have been comments on other illuminated signs around the brightness and specifically where it shines into people's homes or businesses. So, you know, I'm not, you know, I'm not prepared to say no backlighting aside. I'm just wondering if we could maybe entertain a suggestion around reducing the hours to 10 or 10:30, at least during the week, at a minimum during the week, sort of Monday to Thursday or Sunday to Thursday.
Are you wanting to make a motion to move the time? And I would suggest not to get specific with days of the
Sure.
week, just stick with a time. But are you wanting to move a motion that would make it 10 to 8 a.m.?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, is there a seconder for everything else being the same? Is there a seconder for reducing the turning off the illumination between the hours of 10 p.m. and 8 a.m. daily? So, all right. I have a seconder, Hope Wallace. Okay, let me, I'll read what I think we've just moved, and Councillor Stack, you can correct me. So what we're moving is acceptance of approval of the variance and granting the following: to permit a permanent accessory ground sign located 0.8 meters from the property line instead of the required 2 meters to the property line, and to permit the permanent accessory ground sign located less than 30 meters and greater than 10 meters from an exclusively residential use zone to be internally illuminated, not eliminated, illuminated. And 3, to permit one permanent facial wall sign 2.5 meters above the height of the first story instead of the maximum 1.2 meters above the height of the first story. And 4thly, to permit the facial wall sign located less than 30 meters and greater than 10 meters from an exclusively residential use zone to be internally illuminated. This application for minor variance would also have the acceptance would also have the following conditions. The signs would be internally illuminated, the internally illuminated signs shall be turned off from 10 p.m. to 8 p.m. daily. The existing permanent accessory ground sign located on the town road allowance will be removed. And number 3, the variances apply to the proposed facial sign, facial wall and ground sign only and are valid only for the duration of the existing uses on site.
And so I think we just wanted to do 8 p.m. to 8, or sorry, 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. I think you may have
Oh, did I
said
say
8
10 p.m. to 8 p.m.?
Yeah. I assume that was an error.
Dana caught, yeah, it
Yeah.
wouldn't make any sense to just let them have it on for a couple of hours. So I will correct myself. Internally illuminated signs shall be turned off from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. daily. Okay, so that would be the motion. Are there any further comments or questions? Member Beckett?
So because there's going to be a dimmer on the sign and there's going to be the ability to turn it off, if we approve it and then it does become a problem for number 19, it is something potentially that could be revisited.
I believe
right, like that there is the option that if it is a problem later, it is something that could be dimmed or turned off or something like that, right?
Jay, did you want to respond?
Well, yeah, I guess it would only be a problem if the committee's decision is not being followed. And if it isn't, then we could make it, or the applicant could make another request to committee for it to be changed.
But say if there was others, let's say if the people that lived across the street complained, hey, this is a really bright light shining into a house that we didn't realize how bright it was, it is something that potentially could be revisited later.
Yeah, I don't think it can't be revisited by committee. You'll have given your decision. And
right.
The owner is, expecting a reasonable be able to follow that. And so, but we would engage complaints sort of on an individual basis and work with that landowner and approach the motel manager to see if there's something that could be accommodated, but wouldn't be through the various process.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
It would be my impression too that the owners of the property directly across the street did receive notice of this, correct?
No, sign variances are not circulated to neighbors. They're just the committee to make the decision on the bylaw.
Okay, so they wouldn't be aware of this
Unless they're following the agenda, they're not probably aware.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? And again, Councillor Stack, it's hard for me to see you on the screen. So if you want to say anything, make your hand go up or something, please. Okay, seeing none, I'll call the question. So again, this is for acceptance of the variance with the change from what we received noting 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. All those in favor? Those opposed? That motion is carried.
Thank you.
Okay, the only other item on our agenda is that it relates to the date of our next meeting, and I believe that there are applications that we will be viewing. So the next meeting will be held on July the 15th, 2024 in this location. Is that correct? And I can now ask for a motion for adjournment, moved by Member Wallace, seconded by Member Beckett. All those in favor? Any opposed? No, the motion carries. The meeting adjourns at 5:21 p.m. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.